Hey, welcome to LTV. I'm Michael Clark. I'm here at the LTV Media Center in Wayne-Scott, New York. I'm here with the town supervisor for East Hampton, Mr. Peter Van Scoyoc. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Michael. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So we're heading into the weekend, and I'd just like to start, if I could, the obvious, the reason why we started Facts at 5, unfortunately, more coronavirus issues and news. But I'm taking this right, this came as reported by Jamie Buffalino of the East Hampton Star with assistance from Chrissy Sampson. They were saying that with the coronavirus infection surging in Suffolk County, primarily because of small indoor gatherings, traditional Thanksgiving celebrations could pose a significant health risk that Suffolk County Executive Steve Malone warned on Tuesday. You and I talked about this a little bit last week. Mr. Malone said he is worried that the night before Thanksgiving, which is traditionally one of the biggest party nights of the year, particularly for young people, as we all know, will lead to a similar spread. So, you know, his thought process is with the bars and restaurants shutting down now at 10 p.m. because of the governor's orders, that our young people are going to be tempted to attend maybe indoor parties with drinking and not following the proper social distancing guidelines. What are your thoughts on that, Peter? Do you have anything to go along with that?
Well, certainly we're concerned about the spiking numbers in Suffolk County. Our numbers here in East Hampton are going up also, but not, I think, at the same rate and percentage of infection that we're seeing further west. You know, this is not the time really to let our guard down. In fact, this is the time post-summer when we're all moving back indoors that we need to really be a lot more cognizant of all the safety measures and really follow them again,
Right.
So that we don't end up back in a lockdown. You know, I'm concerned about Suffolk County because we're in Suffolk County, and you know, if things flare there, then we're going to get a shutdown order here, and I don't think any of our businesses, any of us, want to go back to a full lockdown. You know, we've been careful. We need to continue to be careful. And I just would urge anyone who's thinking about gathering, you know, it's fine if you're gathering within your own household, but if you're having relatives or friends come in from elsewhere, you really need to take every precaution. I would suggest that you forego those kind of gatherings altogether. You know, I know that's what we're doing in my family. We're not gathering together, and it's sad because we look forward to Thanksgiving, particularly as a time to gather the whole family together, celebrate family, and you know, be thankful for all the blessings that we receive in this life. And we're just going to have to postpone that, you know, for the future.
Yeah, Dr. Weinbaum, who was a chief medical officer at Stony Brook, Southampton, said that he agrees with what you're saying. He said that that any party where you're exposed to someone that you don't live with is risky. And he said the usual large extended family gatherings is just a bad idea. And that's coming right from the head of the hospital over there. And we've kind of experienced that. I know that you're probably aware of that, where we're at LTV, we're shutting down for the public, portion of what we do. And, we'll still be programming, still be doing all the things that we do, but just our crew. We can't allow ourselves the opportunity to possibly be exposed or expose ourselves to someone else and risk it becoming a super spreader type of place because of people coming and going. Obviously we still do the government meetings and that's the bread and butter, those things that we need to care for.
Well, LTV is such an essential, part of, you provide such an essential service to the community that, you need to be taking extra precautions. We need you when times get tough. You need to keep your staff healthy. And, I think closing to public is probably a very prudent thing to do right now. Again, closer spaces indoors, coming from different households. You want to try and maintain your own bubble, if you will, those people that you work with every day. And if
Right.
those people are careful about what they do outside of work hours, then we'll be fine. The schools are seeing cases in New York City. Schools just shut down, as I'm sure you're aware. They've just closed again. Um,
Yeah.
that was due to the spiking numbers above 3% positive in the city. But it's not schools where that transmission is taking place. The data suggests that schools are actually quite safe, and that the procedures and protocols they have in place are keeping the children and teachers safe for the most part. And there's a debate raging right now whether or not the city schools should have been shut down under those circumstances, and when they've left bars and restaurants open, which we know, based on the data, are areas where there's been a lot of transmission. We got a notice from the Suffolk County Health Department that there was a spreader event at the Friendlies in Riverhead, and if you were dining there, I think November 5th or 6th, you should get tested right away. You may have been exposed to COVID in that setting. So that's something you just got to be careful.
And it's not surprising either, right? If we go back to May or April or May, they even, the scientists anyway predicted this second surge that was going to happen. They nailed it. November, December, here we go, we're going up. And so it isn't really news to us. The good news, of course, is the vaccine, and that, we have that on the horizon. But that's still, even though it's April, that's not right around the corner. We need to
Right.
get it now.
Even in April, it's not going to be widely distributed at first.
Right.
It's going to go out to essential workers and those within certain classes of at-risk
Right.
individuals first. So,
So-
we this is the best we can do to keep our economy going, to keep each other safe and healthy, is to follow these guidelines. Wearing the mask, don't gather together with people outside of your own household.
Yep.
If at all possible. And if you do it outdoors. Don't be thinking you're going to sit at a table even 6 feet apart in the same room without a mask, eating and drinking and talking, that you're not putting yourself and others at risk for the spread of this disease. The governor also came out with restrictions a week ago, Friday it was, that starting at 10 p.m. all bars, restaurants, taverns, and gyms have to close down. And that means nobody in the restaurant after 10. Even if you got served, 9:30, you got to be out of there at 10. That's the restriction. And then limiting gatherings within private properties and households to 10 or less. And the idea is that, if there's somebody who is positive within a group, if there's only 10 other people to spread it to, that's going to keep it from being a super spreader immediately. You have 50 people now you got 50 different households potentially that could be infected versus 10. So you can see how much quicker it would spread with larger numbers in a gathering. So, you got the kids coming home from college. In some cases, you have relatives traveling from out of state. There's so many different areas within the country that are really surging right now. The travel advisories went from listing individual states that you needed to quarantine if you came from them, spent more than 24 hours there, to every state is now on that list. You're required in New York State to quarantine for 14 days. If you travel from any other state, with the exception of contiguous states, there is a way around the 14-day quarantine. If you quarantine for 3 days and then have a negative COVID test on the 4th day, then you can come out of quarantine. But that's just how serious this is getting, that these new restrictions are being put in place.
Right. And then absolutely, you're right, Peter. We have to stay the course. I mean, we've been doing the right things in town of East Hampton since the beginning. We just have to stay the course and, wear your mask, folks. That's what we have to do. So what else is going on in the town, Peter, that you'd like to share with the folks out here?
Well, there are a number of things going on. I guess prominent in the news and on the front pages of the papers is the lift boat in Wainscott. Orsted is doing some geotechnical testing, core samples of the sea bottom and beyond, to ensure that the plans for placing that cable on the shoreward landing, that cable can be placed 30 feet or more below the surface, so that there's no chance of it becoming exposed during storms or any other events. So they're doing that testing that will continue through till about Thanksgiving, I believe. They initially started with the drilling about 2,100 feet offshore. They will come as close as 780 feet offshore. They're doing 3 separate borings and then a boring at a roughly 1,400 feet offshore. They just are basically setting up doing core samples. And again, they have all the permits and permissions necessary to do that. It's necessary investigation for their proposed cable route landing at Beach Lane. Also, we had a police reform meeting with the general public, which you televised for us.
Right.
Subsequent to that, we have an appointed police reform committee, and we'll get to work on reviewing police practices and community concerns and questions, comments that come in to the committee. We did take public comment over the air live. We only had 1 comment. We take email comments. And if anybody is concerned about their identity in making a comment, they can send or drop off anonymous comments addressed to the supervisor in our Dropbox right outside of Town Hall. Just address police reform, supervisor on the envelope. If you have any comments or concerns, want to remain anonymous, you can just drop off those comments there. Also, we recently awarded an RFP to a wireless communications contractor, Cityscape Consultants, to help us with developing and addressing the number of wireless communications issues that we have in town, whether it's coverage gaps, reviewing applications by providers, so that we can ensure that we have the best wireless system that we can in town. Again, the town doesn't provide this service. These are individual companies, but identifying where there are coverage gaps and working to address those in a comprehensive way rather than piecemeal. One provider might have good coverage in an area, the other doesn't. We want to try to keep the number of towers and tower sites to the absolute minimum that we can, while still providing, significant coverage throughout the town.
Yeah, and that's just a safety issue at this point, right, Peter? I mean, everybody's got a cell phone, so that's really the thing we need the coverage for. Like I see the towers going up at the new substation, the fire substation, right?
Yes, in Northwest, there's a new tower there. There's also a temporary tower that we've approved on Stephen Hands in 27, which will help cover Wayne Scott and portion of the Northwest corridor. We are pursuing sites in Springs where there's coverage issues and have been for some time. And again, some of the coverage problems are also relate to the amount of bandwidth and then just the number of people that are here.
Yeah.
We have suffered, some issues in summertime when, peak season and so many people are on, but with the pandemic, so many people using data on their phones and, working remotely, uploading TikTok videos, whatever it may be, it's just eating up bandwidth, and we just don't have the infrastructure here to handle the bandwidth and, beyond what were historic gaps in communications geographically.
Well, Peter, believe it or not, we're out of time again. We're having too much fun, I think. It seems to go quicker and quicker each week, but I thank you for taking the time to share with the community what's going on. And any last thoughts for you?
Yeah, just everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know it's not going to be like any typical Thanksgiving probably, but count your blessings. We still have plenty of them, and we'll get through this, and just be mindful of what you need to do to keep yourselves safe, keep your neighbors safe until we get through this pandemic.
Thank you, Peter.
If you need help, reach out to somebody. Don't be shy. Don't be too proud to ask for help. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people don't want to ask for help. But if you really need help, reach out and ask for it. There's plenty of people around to help.
Sure is. Thank you. And Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and stay safe. Bye now.
Bye, Michael. Take care.